My studying technique changes depending on which subject I am studying. When it involves memorizing subjects as history or literature, I try to memorize everything by associating every idea to something important to me. When it comes to subjects as math or chemistry, I study doing a lot of different exercises.
My principal study technique is to take notes in class and try to understand all the concepts and theory. I try to follow a study schedule every day. If I have to study a memory subject, I try to read the lesson many times and then start memorizing. But in English, I don't need to memorize a lot. I keep my head calm and focus on the subject.
Teacher puts the exam paper on top of my table. The first thing I do is a general reading so I get to know my exam paper. After that, I draw a little mark next to the questions that I perfectly know how to answer and I respond them. It's important to do that because if you start with the difficult ones, you will get nervous. It's crucial to answer all the questions and write short sentences to explain every move you make.
When it comes to doing the exam, I always bring a bottle of water with me to stay hydrated and manage my mindset better. It's important getting to know your exam paper. Try to check carefully what the question is about and select the right information to answer it. For longer answers, organize your material clearly in sections.
The first thing to do is a quick little reading to understand what the subject is. Secondly, I do another reading and try to identify all the ideas while I underline the words that I don't know. Later, I try to understand them depending on the context. When all the process is done, I read the questions related to the text and answer them based on sentences of the reading content.
If I have to read a text, the first thing to do is to read it. The second is to mark all the words that I don't know while reading and locate precise information. Identify key terms or expressions. The third is to read in detail to involve close reading of the entire text. And finally, a revision reading.
When it comes to use of English, for me, the most important part is grammar and there's many ways to improve it. In my case, the best way is watching movies, videos, or reading and talking to people in English, so I can familiarize myself with grammar expressions.
As my teammate Zineb has rightly said, talking with native English speakers improves your vocabulary and also your grammar. You learn how to speak and to use English correctly. I usually watch series, movies, and YouTube videos of American or British people, so that helps me to improve my English level and the correct use of the words.
As a first step, I start writing the ideas that I want to project in the text on a paper, and then the improved words and expressions that I could use. Once the base is built, I start developing every idea in a paragraph. I normally write 3 or 4 of them.
I always try to have a structure. First of all, I organize how many paragraphs I'm going to write, each one with its idea. My text always has a message or lesson to share. I use my own unique voice to tell something that resonates with the reader and connects in a way that leaves a lasting impression, a reflection. The use of connectors, linking words, and expressions are an important part of everyday English and enriches writing a lot. So, if you learn some connectors, that improves your writing skills.
It's well known that technology has influenced society in so many different ways. One of them is the way we educate kids nowadays. It's easier to them to learn when the content is interactive, watching videos, listening to audios, or gamification. The negative part of technology is the danger that it can cause or the wasting of time that already produces. From my point of view, mental health should be a subject in schools because having a healthy mind also means to have self-confidence, self-love, high self-esteem, and motivation to achieve any goal and to go through any bad situation that life puts you in. It's also very important to normalize going to a therapist. It doesn't mean that you are crazy. As teenagers, we are starting to socialize with different kinds of people every day and we learn things about it, such as if we can tell them our secrets and give them our trust or not. I consider that it is very important to surround ourselves with positive people that support us and believe that we can achieve whatever we wish. There's a lot of groups of people that are discriminated against and feel judged by our society because human beings tend to judge people without listening to their story before and without even knowing their name. Fortunately, comparing our society nowadays, we are creating a less judgmental society and improving as humans, but it doesn't mean that the improvement is already done. A hobby is an activity that people like to do without receiving any economic benefit. They do it often only because it makes them feel happy. It could be a physical, mental, or creative activity. It's scientifically proven that hobbies can reduce the risk of having anxiety and depression, and it maintains a stable mental health.
Let's talk about the vegan diet. Vegetarian diet is commonly understood to forbid meat and fish, but to allow both eggs and dairy. The word vegan takes this concept to the next level, calling out every item of animal origin. Vegans refers to anything that's free of animal products. How does veganism compare to other vegetarian and non-vegetarian diets? Researchers in the Journal of General Internal Medicine found that following a vegan diet results in a greater weight loss compared to other vegetarian diets. But there are some potential drawbacks of following a vegan diet, like the lack of vitamins. Our collective carbon dioxide emissions can be expressed as a product of 4 factors and their relationship with each other. 2 of them explain why worldwide carbon dioxide emissions are still rising, and 2 of them explain how we can stop that. Global average surface temperature has increased by a 0.8 over since 1850. We can stop this converting fossil fuels to a renewable instead of burning them, such as solar and wind power, which emits zero carbon emissions when operating. Energy from the sun and the wind are infinite, unlike fossil fuels, and we will never run out of them more.